Hello guys, Tops here today. My tempo perk tier list. People love tier list, I like tier list, we're gonna make one. So this is focused on like tempo perks. What are tempo perks? Tempo perks are basically perks that give you a massive immediate boost. So like a big reward immediately. And I'm gonna rate all the perks based on that. So, sorry, I got a little bit confused for a second. So here are the perks. All of the perks is the Battle Brothers planner. And here are all the perks. I'm just gonna start in order. Fuck it. So we have Dodge. So Dodge is a tier 2 perk. So you can get it when you are level 3. And Dodge, what does Dodge do? Dodge basically gives you 15% of your current initiative as bonus to ranged and melee defense. So it is available pretty early on, which means that is pretty nice if we want to play tempo. So available early on, defense is super important, especially early on when your characters have like very bad defense. And yeah, it's just more defense very early on. Makes your characters much more survivable. So that is a good tempo perk. Gives you immediately a highly valuable defense, ranged and melee. So that's good. I would say this is an A tier perk when it comes to tempo. Next one, Battleforge. So Battleforge is a late perk, available at level 7. So that kind of already puts it like in this category. On top of that, Battleforge requires you, so Battleforge basically gives you damage reduction. The more armor you have, the more damage reduction you have. So it requires heavy armor to use, which is something you do not have in the early game. So like it is like super strong for late game, but like early on, it's not so strong, not so strong. I would put it in like C tier. It's like overall a pretty slow perk, doesn't give you much benefit immediately unless you have heavy armor, which is something that you do not have early on. All right, next one. Resilient. Resilient. Available very early on. Reduces status effects. Problem is other perks are better and Resilient is overall just not the great perk. It doesn't make you, like status effects are very rare in the game and they are rarely a big issue and a lot of them can be worked around. So this perk is, I basically never take this perk and it offers almost no power up because it's kind of a silver bullet for that one use case where it might do something, but like in every other case it does nothing. So from an immediate power level perk, it's bad. I don't like it. Fuck 'em. All right, next one, Shield Mastery. This is a good one. Shield Mastery, available at level 4, gives you, increases your shield defense by plus 25. So for like shield bearers, this is insane. You immediately, if you have a kite shield, get plus 5 melee defense. And if you shield wall, you get another 5%. So that's another 5. So that's like plus 10 melee defense if you use shield wall. It is essential for every tank and every frontliner who uses a shield. Available, it's the third row, so level 4. Pretty early available, massive boost to your survivability, also increases or reduces the damage that your shield takes, or like if somebody tries to bash your shield, which the AI frequently does, it is now less efficient. So I would say this is a very good perk for your survivability. Problem is not everybody is using a shield, although a lot of brothers are using shields early on. I would say it's a B tier perk. It's like relatively fast, relatively fast. We might rearrange some perks later. Let's continue. Next one, Colossus, S tier. First and foremost, available at level 2. It's your first level up. Increases your hit points by 25%. Massive. You need a lot of hit points in order to survive the game. And if you take 25% or more of your current HP, of your maximum HP as damage, you receive an injury. And that is something that you want to avoid. Injuries take days to heal, they can cripple a brother, and they a lot of the time lead to death of your brother. And the less HP you have, the more likely it is that you receive an injury. So leveling early on hit points and giving your brother Colossus. I think Colossus is probably the best level 1 perk. And so I would argue probably the best tempo perk in the game. Next one, 9 life. I think I put it here as well. 9 life, basically, right, once upon battle, if you get killed, you revive immediately with 10 to 15 hit points, and all of status effects are removed. So you can kind of tell this is the much better perk, the much better version than Resilient. You also get additional defense, resolve, and initiative. So a lot of the time, you can just walk away after getting hit and killed. So not only is that an insurance against death, a guaranteed insurance, it is also, it at least doubles, if not triples, the survivability of a certain brother. And like the amount of survivability that you get from 9 lives is just not comparable to most other perks. And it's not comparable to any of like the early game perks. Like maybe Nimble gives you more survivability, but like 9 lives, that's a level 1 perk, like a row 1 perk, not level 7. So 9 lives, I would say, is one of the best tempo perks. It gives you the opportunity to play super aggressive with your bros because you know he's not going to die, even if he gets hit, because, you know, he has 9 lives, he's protected. Also, like randomly having like brothers bleed out or something, it's also not going to happen anymore because of the 9 lives. Incredibly tempo perks. Makes your brother insanely survivable. I would put this S tier. And I just, 1 second, I just accidentally killed my tier maker. Pretty sure we can revive this. Can we? Thanks God. I have revived it. Oh my goodness. Swapping around tabs. I am a professional after all. Okay. Next one. Fortified Mind. Fortified Mind gives you immediately plus 25% of your current resolve. And it furthermore enhances every time you put 4 point in resolve, you get another 5 point. So resolve is nice to have, but it doesn't necessarily increases your survivability directly. It just gives you more resolve. It makes you more likely that you are not dropping in moral, which is kind of nice early on. But other perks are just much better. To be fair, it's a level 3 perk. You can get it very early. I will put it in B tier. Gets outshined by other perks. But like in certain circumstances, especially for like your guys who are kind of tanking on the sides or getting surrounded, stuff like Underdog might be a lifesaver. Auto include on Urbana, of course. I would say B tier. It's not bad as a tempo perk. Next one, Steelbrow. Steelbrow reduces, basically eliminates the critical damage that would occur if you get hit in the head. I would say this is also like probably an A tier perk, because that basically means before you have Nimble or Battleforge, like a crossbow hit to the head for a brother might be fatal. A second one is guaranteed to be fatal. So Steelbrow reduces drastically the chance that your brother dies instantly from something that commonly occurs, like marksman or just getting smashed in the head by a brigand with like a big maul, the big two-handed a weapon. So yeah, I would put it A tier for now. It basically cheats a it basically, I like these perks that cheat the game, the basic game elements. So stuff like Underdog, Like if you can remove like the rules that everybody else has to follow, but you don't if you have 0, that's strong in my opinion. Removes a critical failure point before you have Nimble and Battleforge, and even if you have Nimble and Battleforge, it can increases your survivability drastically. And reduces like the low probability kill chance of your brother. I would put it A tier for tempo. Might put it down to B. It's not that fast, but like it can instantly change how a brother plays the game, in my mind. So I would rate this fairly highly. Next one is anticipation. Basically gives you range defense pretty early on. Problem is it competes with dodge, which is just the better perk, and you get it earlier. This just gives you range defense. I basically never take this perk, maybe on my bannerman sometimes, but like it gives you immediately always plus 10 range defense at least. It can give you more than that. So the problem is range defense is situational. Like a lot of opponents in the game do not have like any kind of range threat. And yeah, like dodge is just the better all-rounder perk that can also be taken earlier. So I will put this like C tier. Hyper situational, not that fast. All right, next one is rotation. Basically lets you rotate a brother. I kind of would rate this in like B tier when it comes to tempo. It gives you early game the opportunity to save a brother if he is in trouble. So having like one rotation on like one of your backliners, or maybe like your banner guy early on, or your bannerman early on, it's like a level 4 perk. So it can save lives early on. I would still put it B tier. It's like a very early opportunity of saving your lives from your company before like smoke pots are available and other things. So yeah, I would put it B tier for now. Next one is Headhunter. Headhunter is basically a damage perk that you receive pretty late in the game. So like it's a level 7 perk. The problem is if you reach level 7, you will take either Nimble or Battleforge. You will never take one of these perks before you take Nimble or Forge, because these are just major survivability upgrades, and these ones are just damage perks. When it comes to tempo, I would say C tier maybe. Like, maybe let's put it D tier when it comes to tempo. Like Headhunter is not a bad perk, I like it, but it doesn't increase your damage, and like you take it very late. So like it's nice to have, but like it's more for late game builds. It's a slow perk, you take it pretty late, and yeah, I would say it's overall a very slow perk. Next one, Executioner. You get this fairly early on, level 3 in the second row. Gives you plus 20% damage against injured opponents. It is a big increase in damage early on. The problem is you have to be able to hit your opponents, so a lot of the time things that give you additional hit chance is much better. But Executioner is just, it's the earliest damage perk that you have. So I would put it in B tier just because of that. Like if you just want to go all out damage, like this is the earliest damage perk that you can have that actually increases your damage. I like this one for that reason. Next one. Bullseye increases your hit chance against hidden target. That means it's good for range bros. Problem is it is only good for like dedicated marksmen like archers and maybe crossbowmen. Guns ignore cover completely, and throwing weapons are usually close range, so you don't need them really. So Bullseye, if you play an archer, I pick this perk, but it competes with other perks, and it's like generally not a perk that makes you immediately better. It's like super situational, like resilient. You basically don't take this on 99% of your bros, and even then it's like not a super big power up. So I would put it in D tier. Overall, a very slow perk. Next one, Reach Advantage. It's a level 6 perk. So you get plus 5 defense if you hit an opponent with a 2-handed weapon. Problem with that is it's a win more, lose more perk. So basically, if you miss your opponent, you do not get the stack. So that means not only is your enemy alive, also you didn't have your defensive perk up. So not only is that enemy now alive and will potentially kill you, also you don't have your +5 defense. If you hit your opponent in the first place, he's maybe dead or injured, so he's less likely to hit you back, so you don't really need that defense anymore. It's also very prohibitive, only works with two-handed weapon, melee weapon, doesn't work with ranged weapons. So comes in very late. I would say this perk, like super situational, doesn't offer you a lot of speed, I would say. I would put it in D tier for perks. Overall, I don't like this perk, and it doesn't give you a lot immediately, especially compared to other perks. But like, I mean, there are AoE builds who can benefit from that, but yeah, generally speaking, you would take other perks. All right, next one, bags and belts, gives you additional slots. 2 additional backpack slots. You can get it on level 1, like on the first level up. Problem is, bags and belts just gives you 2 additional backpack slots, which is something that you kind of only need on throwers, so people who throw a lot of utilities, and you kind of only need this later, where like the battles are longer and you throw more things, right? So like, if you take this perk early on, doesn't make your brother twice as efficient. There are other perks that make him much more efficient. If you compare it to other perks in this in the early tier, like in the first tier, there are much more perks that make you much more faster. I would put it C tier. Like, it's good. Like 99% of your bros don't need that. There's maybe one specific build that really wants that. The rest can completely ignore it. And like, if you get it, it doesn't make you faster. Really makes you just a little bit better, like a lot of other perks. All right, next one, student. So students basically is a level 1 perk. It gives you plus 20% experience gain, so that means you level up faster. Problem is, you do not have a perk. It's very good if you want to get to Nimble or Battleforge really fast. It is really good if you just want a power level and just get other stats faster. And it's the only free perk in the game. However, you basically miss out the perk. And that is kind of the problem. So like taking Colossus, for instance, or 9 lives level on level 1 is much more efficient than taking Student. Overall, Student, you can kind of argue back and forth because you level up faster, but it's more like putting money in the bank, you know, investing and then getting a return later. It's a slower process. I would put it C tier. It's not very fast, that perk. Pathfinder. Okay, Pathfinder reduces the action point cost and the fatigue cost for tiles traveled. Now that means you can move faster and you can move up hills faster. And that is the big point. You can move up hills faster. You can move in the swamp faster. So it completely changes the way your brothers play. And especially early on, you fight a lot of brigands, and like enemies on hills, especially brigands on hills, are a huge problem. And without Pathfinder, these camps are basically really, really hard to do. So it changes the way your company plays. It gives you an immediate benefit. And I would put it in B tier. It's not the fastest, but it's level 1, and it changes the way your company plays. So I would put it in like, that's kind of middle. Like can give you an edge in a lot of difficult battles. Shines when it shines. Next one, footwork. Footwork is basically I get out of jail free card. Problem is, it is a selfish perk, comes online late, level 6, and doesn't work if you are fully surrounded by friends and opponents. So it comes late. I generally do not like this perk. Only helps yourself, but it gives you out of jail free card. Thing is, you can work around it. In most cases, I would say rotation is stronger, and you get it much earlier. I struggle putting it. I would put it in D tier. I don't like this perk, and I don't think it gives you enough for like the immediate power up. I don't think this is like a very strong power up. Next one, Relentless. Hyper-specific perk again. Don't slow down. You now have basically always high initiative, which is critical for initiative builds. So if you have like dodge tanks or like fencers, maybe dagger duelist, critical for these builds. Doesn't matter for any other builds. Maybe the Battleforge dodge build, but that is a hyper-specific late game build. So it is a level 4 perk, so it comes relatively early, like in the mid, but also it's just, yeah, I don't know. Like, it doesn't do much, to be honest, for most characters. And the tempo that it provides to like certain builds is not that great. I would put it CTS, not that fast. All right, now a controversial one, Fearsome. So, Fearsome basically makes, if you hit your opponent, they are more likely to get negative resolve checks. That's what Fearsome does. Problem with that is it's a level 8 perk, so it comes online super late. It helps you in certain fight or can help you in certain fights. The problem is like Fearsome benefits from like the more people Fearsome have, the better it is, because you kind of can chain around your opponents. You're basically gambling. You're playing the slot machine. Do I trigger a negative moral check or not? And you can trigger negative moral checks without Fearsome. It just becomes more likely with Fearsome and much faster. And like if your whole company has Fearsome, it becomes much more likely that you trigger a negative moral check. Problem is undead are completely immune. Beasts have too high morale to care, and like there are other opponents who don't care about this too much. So like roughly half of the enemies are more or less immune to Fearsome, technically and quite literally. And it comes online very late. I would put it in C tier because it can scale, it can make harder fights easier for you. But it's more like it's very slow. It's in the last row. I cannot give stuff that is in the last row a high rating because of tempo. It's not really a tempo perk, I would say, although a lot of people say it's a tempo perk, let me snowball my run. You can argue that. I would say, not really. Maybe. Sometimes. But like overall, one of the slower perks. Nimble, on the other hand, I would put in S tier. Nimble gives you 60% damage reduction if you wear light armor. And that is insane. It's basically, together with 9 lives, it's the most efficient defense that you have in the game. Because you can give this perk to any of your brothers and it makes them twice as survivable. You have to imagine this. I think this Nibble effectively more than doubles your HP, which is something that kind of 9 lives does as well. A little bit more specific, but like it kind of makes you impossible to get one shot. That is kind of the same with Nimble. Nimble comes online at level 7, 9 lives online at level 1. So a major survivability upgrade to your company, I would put it S tier. As soon as you have Nimble, certain fights become much more easier because your bros take significantly less damage. Yeah, so despite being a super late perk with level 7, it is still one of the fastest in the game. Maybe I put it actually 8 here. Maybe 8 here. It's like level 7. It's pretty late in the game. That's pretty late in the game. 1 second. So, next one, Indomitable. Level 8 perk. For 5 action points, 25 fatigue, you get 50% damage reduction. That is an insane perk on tanks. That's what your late game tanks want to have, or like all of your tanks. Problem is it comes online level 8, makes certain fights more accessible, but it's a level 8 perk. I will put it in D tier, very slow. You need to get to level 8 to get this perk. Fast adaptation, another S tier perk, I would say. You can get it on your first level F. Gives you plus 10% hit chance for every attack that you miss. You can only have 1 stack though. So this is like early game when every single brother has like a bad hit chance and you have only swords and spears. So you have plus 10 or plus 20% hit shots and you miss you miss every second hit, if not more. This significantly increases your hit chance and significantly increases your damage output. One of the best perks you can take level 1. I would say it only competes with like Colossus and 9 Lives. Insane tempo perks. On certain bros, it kind of doubles their damage, more or less, level 1. I would put it S tier. Berserk. Okay, Berserk gives you 4 more action points on level 7, but you take it on level 8, not on level 7. That effectively doubles your damage if you use two-handed weapons, which is very, very powerful. I will put it in like, it comes late online, but when it comes online, it is really powerful. You can just destroy weaker opponents, and again, it's effectively double the damage if you have two-handed weapons, which is, of course, the most efficient and fastest way to kill your opponent. Just smash them with a big two-handed weapon. So, comes late, but when it comes, it is a massive power increase in your company. And yeah, doubling your damage is always good. Next one, Killing Frenzy. Upon killing an opponent, you get plus 25% more damage. Yeah. Level 8 comes online, level 8. Same as Fearsome. Gives you more damage. Pairs very nice with Killing Frenzy because it has the... with Berserk because it has the same trigger. But it's like level 8. Comes online super fast, but gives you more damage. So it's not bad. Significantly increases your damage, but it comes online late. Adrenaline. Adrenaline. A level 1 perk for 1 action point, 25 fatigue. You can go first the next round. It basically gives you plus 1000 initiative when determining turn order. So that means you can outspeed most opponents in the game. That's crazy. By the way, you can outspeed barbarians if you adrenaline and immediately skip your turn. So that's kind of crazy. So if you want to go first the next turn, no matter what, and just hit your opponent before he does, adrenaline is the perk to go. It is kind of, it becomes a redundant perk very fast. And like the problem is, you can argue that hit chance is more better in order to deal damage. Doesn't make a lot of sense to go first if you can't hit your opponents anyway. So it competes with other perks, but it gives you a lot of power early on. And even late, it's still valuable and like situational, super, super strong, but it's very fatigue intensive. So a nice power up early on, but falls off later, I would say. Next one, Taunt. Taunt is basically, it's a level 4 perk, and lets you taunt an enemy and basically lets them attack the bro that taunted him. It's situational, super situational even. I would put it in like, maybe I put it into B tier. It comes online relatively early on. It is kind of like the only way of actively manipulating AI without using other techniques, I would say. So this is like, but it's like really nice for tanks, like, or for sacrificial bros who try to protect other bros. So like, it's an early game protection, but like falls off super late. But nice for your tanks. It's not bad. Quick Hands, level 3 perk. Basically swapping your items once per turn costs no action points. It's effectively additional action points. I would put it in B tier as well. Because like, comes online early, but it doesn't have a lot of impact early. Like a lot of the time early game you kind of use whatever weapons you have, and you, generally speaking, do not have an abundance of like other weapons. So it is very limited that early on from its useful perspective. And you kind of want other perks, like you want additional hit chance, additional survivability, before you want additional utility first. Like, it doesn't matter if you can quick swap weapons if you can't hit with them. Or like, also doesn't matter if you can quick switch your weapons if you die all the time. Right, so not the fastest. I would put it C tier actually. Comes online very early, but has limited utility until you reach, until you reach certain gear thresholds where like you have an abundance of weapons, basically. Now, it can be early on nice to throw nets, but like you don't need it to throw nets. So hyper situational on certain builds, but like overall relatively slow, I would say. Next one is Brawny. Brawny gives you more fatigue if you wear heavy armor. Problem is you don't have heavy armor early on, so this goes right away into D tier. Very slow perk, only works if you have heavy armor, which is something you generally do not have early game. Duelist gives you plus 25% armor. Ignore if you have a one-handed weapon and the offhand 3. Problem is it comes at level 8. That's very, very late. And it competes with other damage perks that are also down here. So a lot of the time you don't even take that at level 8. Sometimes you take it at level 9. So yeah, very slow perk. That is basically at the end of your character development. And duelists tend to not be as strong as two-handers. So I would say it's like overall pretty slow. Pretty slow. Okay. Next one, Rally the Troops. I would put that into C tier. Maybe B tier. You know what? Let's put it B tier because it's very specific. You only want to have this on one brother. But Rally the Troops means you can fight undead fights. So this, having one guy with Rally the Troops, gives you basically the opportunity to do undead fights, especially guys fights. Also, it is part of the quest to advance to get enough renown to get known by nobles. So noble houses will give you quests. So because it is kind of like scripted into the one quest that you have, it is necessary for you to have a guy with Rally the Troops in order to get the sergeant stash and the bannerman. So it's necessary in order to advance in the storyline, in the quest line, basically. I would put it B tier, just because it's kind of mandatory to have. And it can open up completely new fights. So that is really nice on top of everything as well. Next one is Recover. You can get it level 1, but it's just hyper situational. And it like early on you have a lot of fatigue because you don't have heavy gear. So Recover is something I usually pick up later on specific builds. Tanks, bannermans maybe, but like it's a perk that I basically never take early on. Very slow perk. Next one, Gifted. Gifted can be get at your second level up. Gives you an immediate stat boost. So this is nice because you get an immediate stat boost. So you basically get an additional level up and you get all high rolls and you can choose. This is super nice, gives you an immediate reward, makes your brother a little bit stronger immediately. My problem with that perk, which is, I don't know if that's a problem, but basically it gives you a little bit of everything, but doesn't fix your bro. So you don't get the massive additional hit chance from like fast adaptation. Right? Doesn't give you the massive survivability increase that 9 lives or Colossus gives you. Or like the massive defense that you can get from dodge, right? Just makes your brother more likely, and gives him more stats. That's about it. But like still, you get it very early on, immediate stat boost, kind of strong. You can outscale the game with that. Next one, Crippling Strikes. Makes it more likely that you injure your opponents. Problem is, early on you don't have a lot of high damage weapons with high armor penetration, so it's less likely to injure your opponents anyway. Second thing, a lot of opponents cannot be injured, a lot of injuries don't matter. Overall, not the best perk, and not the fastest either. Next one, Backstabber. Backstabber. You get plus 10% hit chance for each ally, including Wardog surrounding your opponent. So that it can be... the normal surround bonus is plus 5, so this basically doubles plus 5% your hit chance against that target. So you basically, if your opponent is surrounded by 2 targets, by two brothers, you would get plus 5% additional hit chance against that target. So effectively plus 10. So this is basically plus 5% hit chance. So this is the much better if you have two-handed weapons that only swing once per turn, while fast adaptation is much better for one-handed weapons that can swing 2 times per turn. But you can combine both of these and just get additional hit chance. So Backstabber, it comes online a little bit later, but significantly increases your hit chance, especially against hard-to-hit opponents that can be surrounded by a lot of brothers in order to armor farm and all that kind of stuff. So I would rate Backstabber as like, especially because it comes online so early, like that can give you a significant boost in damage output. All right, next one, Underdog. Level 6 perk, kind of late, but it basically reduces the surround bonus to 0. So that makes your brothers much more survivable, and it completely changes the ways your tanks can play, because now they can get surrounded. And the longer that you play, the more enemies you encounter. So you will be outnumbered constantly, surrounded constantly. Very good perks. Very good perk. Works if you're stunned, if you're like dazed or something. Like it just works when you are in trouble, unlike reach advantage. That only works if you're not in trouble. So Underdog, really nice perk, really like that perk, but comes online very late. I will put it C tier. It's like a level 6 perk, but it's good. Situational though. Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf is a level 6 perk. And like as soon as there are no allies within 3 tile range, you get additional stats. The problem is I basically never take Lone Wolf, because being alone by yourself is basically guaranteed death, more or less. So the fact that I basically only take this for the sacrificial tank in Monolith and on no other brother is like, I don't know. But the problem is I would also not take this on level 6. I would rather take Underdog. In level 7 I take Nimble or Battleforge, and after that, if it's a tank, I probably take Indorm. So like I get like Lone Wolf maybe as last perk and not on every tank. So like very slow perk. Very, very slow perk. All right, next one. Overwhelm comes online level 6. Every time you hit your opponent, you reduce their stats by minus 10%. So problem with that is, so first and foremost comes online level 6. That is relatively slow. Also, it requires your brother to be faster than your opponents, which is something that you only can do if you have a lot of initiative. So it's situational, a situational perk. Kind of highly benefits from this perk, the relentless perk. So it's relatively slow. Can be very powerful if you get it online like early, like having early overwhelm bros is like nice, but it's like super situational in my mind, and like requires a special build, like having a lot of initiative. And yeah, comes online level 6. That is not as slow. That is not a fast perk. It's a slow perk, I would say. Relatively slow, but powerful if applied correctly. Next one, the weapon masteries. You know what? I would put all of the weapon masteries basically in D tier. Some of them are better than others, but all of them can be gained at level 5 basically. So right away it's not very fast. And like the main advantage is you get your fatigue usage reduced by 25%. Some of them, like the crossbow, gets additional armor penetration, the dagger gets an additional attack. So like throwing weapons get additional damage. So some can be like relatively fast, like can increase your damage and stuff, and can have massive benefits. But overall, sometimes it's like it's not the highest boost in output, is my argument. Also, a lot of the times, if you are level 5 and you have like your bad bros, you're not taking like. Also, you have bad weapons usually. You don't take like sword mastery and stuff. Like you usually take like damage or hit chance or survivability perks, stuff like Colossus Dodge and Backstabber 9 lives. You know, fast adaptation. You take gifted, right? Like these perks that make your brother do more damage or be more survivable in the moment, and weapon masteries for the most part don't help you really with that. And like level 5 is like relatively slow. All right, let's change maybe some things in the tier list. Let's check this. Overall, I would rate it like this. Yeah, it's kind of how I would rate this. This is kind of like my my overall tier list. I think the within the tiers, it's not necessarily in order too much, but yeah, I would roughly let it be like so. And as you can see, like the S tiers are basically all the perks that you get on your first level up, and that just massively change your brother. So like make them twice as survivable or twice as likely to hit stuff. And then after that, you see another like hit chance, survivability, and offensive perks. And after that, you have kind of like, or like more like the utility perks, also some survivability perks. And then you kind of get like the damage perks, utility perks, survivability perks, and then the rest, basically. So these are very fast perks, the S and the A tier, and the rest, like B tier is slower but still useful, and like C and D tier are like, they are slow perks. Like you get them on higher level ups, or they have very limited impact the moment you get them. All right, guys, this is kind of like my my tier list. Again, maybe this can help you as a newer player to identify like the perks that give you immediate reward and make you play faster, and the perks that make you play slower. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you down in the comments below if you agree or disagree, and how you see your tier list and what kind of perk you see at what place. I'm pretty sure there's maybe some controversial ones that you highly disagree with. I'm happy to talk to you in the comments. Have a nice day, guys, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.